Hi, I'm Bastish B and welcome to episode 9 of Pop Culture Quick Bites. So today we're going to have a look at The Art of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, released by Dark Horse Comics in 2015.
He-Man and the Masters of the Universe!
So if you grew up in the 80s, then you'll know He-Man. This guy is as much a part of like Saturday morning cartoons as the Gummy Bears or Robotech or G.I. Joe was for me. He was everywhere, he was super popular. You couldn't get away from him. Action figures, cartoons, you name it, he was everywhere. So this book celebrates the complete history, pretty much, of Masters of the Universe. Yeah, so this is a massive tome. This has 319 pages. They did not skimp out of the quality of this book. I'll show you some of my favorite chapters and we'll get into the book right now. So before we get into the chapters in this book, I just want to show you this memorandum. This was obviously sent to the guys at Mattel who made the original thing. Anyway, it says, subject, generic licensed male action figure. So this was their criteria for producing He-Man. Generic action figure. So he was produced as a toy, and obviously cartoons, even comic books and everything else spun off from there. So one of the first chapters in this book deals with the concept art. It's all the stuff they designed for their toy line. It's really cool to see the variations on the characters, and they're looking completely not the way you used to seeing them. And here is good old He-Man in all his glory, the final product. We also got this nice wide shot with all the characters, all displayed in one shot. Very cool. You got a lot of interesting interviews with the guys that were doing the promo art and box art for the action figures of the time. They're really good to read, very interesting. The stories they got to tell about how some of these things came about and how they were created and the changes they made. It has some nice promo box art. It's got all the box art from even all the vehicles and action figures and Castle Grayskull and Hordak Slime Pit. They got all the illustrations in here from all those classic toys that you know and love. I knew we had a friend in our neighborhood, I can't remember who had it, but anyway, somebody had Hordak Slime Pit, where you actually got the slime and you poured it in and it gushed out of the thing's mouth onto like the He-Man dude. I think we put Beastman in there, because Beastman's a total jerk and we always put him in there and got him slimed. So these things are like just very iconic to me. For most of you that are interested in this book, you're probably interested in it because of the same reason that I was, is because of the animated cartoon series. That was something that is ingrained in my mind. The whole intro, I had the power, everything about that was just awesome.
What are you doing here, He-Man?
I heard a call for help, didn't you?
So this book has a nice, in-detailed section on the creation of the cartoon series. It has interviews with some of the voice actors. You have some pencil sketches straight from the animation team. It's also note that this book also covers She-Ra, which was the spin-off series, and it has a lot of information about that as well. It's not just He-Man. In the middle here, we've got this awesome animation cell, and it actually shows you how they used to reuse some of the animation. Even as a kid, I mean, this also applies to G.I. Joe, but as a kid, you used to see every time He-Man did that barrel roll, it was always the same animation, or the thing where you punch towards the screen, same animation. They just changed the background. They did that because season 1 had 65 episodes in it, which is insane. So they produced 65 episodes of animation. That is a lot, so they had to reuse parts where the dudes are walking and stuff like that, and they just switched the backgrounds. And they got a great little example in here. I'll show you. Here's the backgrounds, and they got this piece of animation cell, and you can put it on the backgrounds that. It was just a way to keep everything on budget and on time. I mean, I totally understand it. As a kid, it didn't really matter, even though I knew I was seeing recycled footage. But it's pretty cool. It's just the practicalities of making a cartoon, especially one that has 65 episodes in the first season. The comics and poster section is also freaking cool. Yeah, we are some more. Just look at the detail in that. It's freaking awesome. There was another part that I never knew about. Apparently DC and Marvel both had a run of He-Man at some point, which I thought was pretty interesting. He has one with He-Man and Superman, and he has Marvel's variation. They had a run of He-Man as well. It's kind of unusual for a company to team up with both of the biggest comic book rivals and create the same character. I thought that was kind of cool. That kind of thing probably wouldn't happen these days because everybody's so crazy about copyright. Even that video in the background is probably going to get me a copyright strike.
Try and stop us.
So anybody that grew up in the 80s would definitely know this section. This is covering the Masters of the Universe movie with starring Dolph Lundgren and Courtney Cox of Friends fame. It's also got James Tolkien, you know, that crazy dude in Back to the Future. Slacker McFly, Slacker. Anyway, so that mutation of a movie is made by Canon Movies, who just made tons of exploitation movies. It was a big disaster on every level. I watched it as a kid. I enjoyed it. I'm sure a lot of kids back then enjoyed it, regardless of if you look at it now. It's a total mutation, but it's still kind of fun to watch anyway, just like most Canon movies, just for a good laugh.
And just who are you?
They call me Sticky Fingers.
And chapter 8 over here deals with the relaunch of the Masters of the Universe cartoon series that started in 2002. I never watched this. I remember seeing like maybe half an episode somewhere on some Cartoon Network back in the day, early 2000s, and I thought it looked pretty cool. I never really watched it, so I can't really say anything about it, but the book covers it in detail. It's got tons of artwork of all the characters that are being revised and that. I think it looks pretty cool. I'm kind of interested in checking it out now that I've read more about it. And you could never have this awesome book without showing the original action figures. There's a whole bunch of stuff. There's the Wind Raider. I used to have that. We used to put G.I. Joes in there also. So it became a G.I. Joe / Masters of the Universe flying vehicle. Try and fight the Cobra commanders like F-16 there in the sky. This thing was always Wind, was to shoot the anchor thing and hook on and bring down the plane. So yeah, gotta watch out, Cobra Commander. One of the final chapters here of note is this section where they show all these giant maps of all the planets and Eternia and pretty much everything that they go to in the cartoons and stuff. I thought this was really awesome. It's really detailed. It reminds me of like some sort of Lord of the Rings maps. I wish I had these as a kid. I would have like looked over them and studied them. They would have been so cool. Looking at them now is very, very cool. Here's one of the entire He-Man universe. Whereas here is Eternia. That's where old He-Man's from. Yeah, this is a really high quality book. I can't express how nice this is. It's massive. It comes in at $40. I bought this at a Comic-Con about 2 years ago and I got it for 50% off, so I got it for 20 bucks, which is insane, because it's excellent. I would still consider buying this even at 40. It's definitely worth it, trust me. The only thing I've noticed that this book doesn't cover is the video games. I'm not sure why. There were a couple video games in the 80s that came out for Masters of the Universe. Actually, there were quite a few. The ones that I just know about were from Commodore 64. I played Masters of the Universe game, and I played the one based on the movie as well, so there were 2 of them. I believe there was another one. It was a text adventure game, I might be wrong. There was also Atari games based on these characters, so there was quite a lot of games, and they aren't covered in here, which is kind of odd, seeing as they've meticulously got everything else in here. But that's just a small thing, it's no big deal. Those games that I played were pretty bad anyway. They weren't good. I think the one side-scrolling one on the Commodore 64 had the loop of the Masters of the Universe intro theme. It looped, the audio looped so quickly, it reminded me of like most Nintendo games where the music looped within like a 10-second loop, and it just carried on and on and on and on, and it drove me absolutely insane. The game wasn't good anyway, so it didn't really matter. I didn't play it that much, could never figure it out, it was just bizarre. Yeah, so thanks for joining me, Bastish B at 64K. I hope you enjoyed this episode. This book is very cool, you should check it out. And if you would like and subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. Cut to credits.